What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. A bunch of stuff to get into today, including some Xbox original games going backwards compatible after Inside Xbox took place last night, and it's a lot more than I thought, and there are some really good titles in there. The Mega Man X Legacy Collection 1 and 2 did get dated, got a bunch of information, and right now, as a Mega Man X fan, I'm very excited. But of course, Capcom just couldn't do it without being Capcom. That's something we're going to talk about. And the Switch got a big announcement for the Japanese audience and hopefully out here in the West, but we'll see if it gets localized. So guys, let's get started. So Level 5 said that they were going to be focusing heavily on the Switch with a lot of their mainline games. It seemed that once Ni no Kuni 2 wrapped and they got that released and everything, they were pretty much ready with all of their projects that were current or had finished up. We're going to be starting to move over to the Switch, whether it's from the 3DS or just overall, because of course the Switch has a massive foothold now in Japan very quickly. After its first year, it's massive in Japan and it's going to continue to grow, and I think that is pretty obvious for a lot of Japanese developers, Level 5 included, because yesterday with Famitsu, they announced that Yokai Watch 4 is heading to the Nintendo Switch this year. This year in Japan, it is coming out. We don't know when or a release date or anything, but it is coming out. Now, Yokai Watch is pretty popular in Japan. It was very popular with the first series of games that came out, and then it kind of dipped, and then in the third one it dipped again. So it has been kind of declining. Now, I do think the series has been looking for some kind of boost or injection of popularity or just in general interest, and I think the Switch is right there. I think the Switch is a great idea to move over to. It's popular in Japan, and I think it'll give the series a boost, and in turn, the series will then give the Switch a boost. Even though it does have what we think to be Pokemon coming out at the end of this year, Yokai Watch is another thing that is very popular in Japan, and even after its decline, it still sold over 200,000 units in its debut week when it first came out with Yokai Watch 3 and then others. So it has been declining, but it's still a big seller there. So it's not like it is completely gone or it's not popular anymore. It's just declined a bit. I'm going to be very curious to see what happens here when this comes out. Now, will it come to the Western audience? I feel like it will, only because the Switch is popular in the US as well. But Yokai Watch 3 has still not been localized outside of Japan. That's something the 3DS owners have been waiting for, and it's coming up on the 2nd anniversary of that game's release. So I feel like they would want to bring the third one over first before the fourth one comes over, but maybe if it does come out this year, as they're saying in Japan, maybe we'll see a localization next year, and maybe the third one will come out this holiday in the States. So we'll see if we get a localization on that, but that will spike the Media Creates charts as we would expect. It's a Switch release, it's popular in Japan, so I do think a lot of Switch owners would buy into this. The update for the visual style should be there, so it should look a lot better than the 3DS version, and it'll kind of break that status quo for the series that they were kind of falling into. So it's going to be interesting to see. We just don't know when. Just know sometime later this year, we should see it pop up on the Nintendo Switch, at least in Japan, and then we'll kind of get into maybe it getting localized. Next up, let's talk about the Mega Man X Legacy Collection 1 and 2. Yeah, they split it up. I think most of us had a feeling they were going to do that, much like they did with the Mega Man Legacy Collection, where they split that up between 1 and 2. However, 1 and 2 here for the X Collection appear to be coming out on the same day. It's coming July 24th, so it is coming out this summer. I think that's a good spot for it. I was happy to hear that it was coming out midway through the year rather than on the back half, like in September or something. I think Mega Man 11 has a spot in that fourth quarter, and that's probably why they want to put the X Collection out. I'm excited for this, and I was checking it out. It looks like they're going to split it up with the first 4 Mega Man X games, so X1, 2, 3, and 4, all on one disc or one cartridge in the first collection. The second collection will have X5, 6, 7, and 8, so 2 PS1 games and then 2 PS2 games on that second disc or cartridge. No, not cartridge. See, they're going to physically release these as well as a collection. You can buy them digitally, either collection for $19.99, or you can go into a store and pick it up physically. Now, if you get it on, say, the PS4 or the Xbox One, it'll come with 2 discs, as you would expect. The Switch version, you get the first collection on a cartridge. The second collection is a voucher, just like the first Legacy Collection with Mega Man Legacy Collection. as we would expect from Capcom. Now, these games surely are larger than, say, the first Mega Man Legacy Collection, where we found out there's a pretty small file size they're going to be using. They're going to fit on like a 512 megabyte cartridge. And while X1, 2, 3 are very small, X4 would probably push it up to, well, the same size as that first Legacy Collection. So yeah, that's probably about the same cartridge size. The second one is surely going to be larger, 2 PS1 games, 2 PS2 games, and while the PS2 games weren't massive in size, they w00 still in the 700-800 megabyte range, but still, they could have clearly fit everything, if I had to take a guess, on an 8 gigabyte cartridge. They just didn't want to. Now, they also talked about some extra features they'll be adding. There will be several different filters to make it look different on your HD television or HD monitor, and they're going to add a couple extra modes. Now, they're going to add what I think is a very cool idea. It's essentially a boss rush mode to a degree. Now, if you've ever wondered, as they put it in their press release, what it's like to fight, say, Chill Penguin and Frost Walrus at the same time, you can do that. You can actually pick 3 weapons to take with you, or try just a buster-only mode, where of course you just use the X-Buster, and you try to fight different bosses at the same time. That's actually a cool idea for people who are a big fan of doing the different bosses. You go in, you just pick the bosses you want to fight, and then you fight them. I like that idea a lot. I think it's neat, and I'm sure there'll be a bunch of different challenges that are put out online, issued. I beat these 2 bosses in this amount of time with just the X-Buster. You're going to see that a lot, and I think this is going to be fun for people who like to speedrun bosses or try to do boss challenges where they take 0 damage. That's going to be really neat. Now, according to them, they also fixed up the sprites, or I guess the 3D models, I should say, in X7 and X8, so that'll look better. Now, I didn't really play around with X7 or X8, the PS2 games, that much. Those are going to be ones I'm going to be curious to go back and take a look at. I know they get a lot of flack for not being very good, and I really like the first 3 Mega Man X games. I'm actually one of the people who like Mega Man X3 the most, which might be kind of weird to some people. Of course, Mega Man X is a game that I played non-stop. I actually even played it on the PC. I had it on my Windows, I think Windows 98 PC back in the day, Windows 2000 PC, and I played it like crazy there. I think I might even still have the PC CD-ROM for it, and it's pretty funny. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I'm excited. I'm just probably going to buy them digitally on the Switch, to be honest, just because it'll probably run the same on all systems. And what's the point in buying it physically if you're getting a little voucher? I don't know. But you'll be able to pick it up July 24th on pretty much all platforms: Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and PC. So keep an eye out for it July 24th, $39.99 for the whole set, or $19.99 if you just want to pick one of the collections. I think that first collection probably going to be the most popular with X1, 2, 3, and 4. Next up, let's talk about Radical Heights. It did launch yesterday, and people didn't seem too happy with it. Now, I do have to at least talk a bit about the state of this game. People were having a lot of issues with it. They were having an issue finding people online to do co-op with. They were having all kinds of bugs and glitches, and here's the thing. It's an early access game. I think people need to remember that. It's free to play. They are selling Founders Packs, but you just download it and play it, and they are actively asking the community for help as they develop this game. There are a lot of bugs, and there are a lot of issues with it. Now, I took a look at the reviews, and as you would expect, it's mostly negative, with a massive, from what I could tell, review bombing going on here, because it was like that at like noon the day it came out, which is crazy to me. That's way too soon to have over 1,000, I think, negative reviews, just constantly review bombing this thing. It's crazy to me. But hey, people aren't happy with what they're doing, I guess, although let's be realistic, it's going to make money and hit the top 3 spots, or at least it came in somewhere in the top 3 spots for Twitch. Depending on when you look, last I looked, it was number 3. Could have moved up to number 2 at this point. So people are playing it, at least. It's another Battle Royale game. It's going to happen. And I'm sure they're going to start looking at this and continue to develop it. They don't have the team that Fortnite has, so they're not going to develop as fast as Fortnite, which has made massive improvements. They make a lot of money, but it's Epic behind it, so they understand the engine very well. But we'll see what improvements Boss Key makes going forward here, because I do think this game's going to actually make them money, unlike Lawbreakers. Next up, let's talk about the original Xbox. It's a system I really like, And after they announced that you would be able to play these on your Xbox One at E3, I got so excited. It is great to see. I wish they turned the online servers back on for them, but it's awesome to be able to play them. And sometimes they even get little updates so they run better on the Xbox One and the Xbox One X. So at Inside Xbox last night, they announced a ton of original Xbox games that are going to be playable throughout April. They have 2 different waves that are going to be showing up, and man, it is insane. Here are some of the games here that you're going to see, starting with Blinx the Time Sweeper, Breakdown, Conquer Live and Reloaded, The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, Hunter the Reckoning, Jade Empire, Panzer Dragoon Orta, SSX3. That is the first wave of games that will be hitting the store April 16th. Of course, if you have the actual physical disc, you can pop it in, it'll download the update, and you can then play it. The second wave that will show up April 26th include Destroy All Humans, Full Spectrum Warriors, Mercenaries Playground of Destruction, MX Unleashed, Panzer Elite Action Fields of Glory, Star Wars Battlefront 1 and Battlefront 2, Jedi Knight Jedi Academy, awesome game by the way, Jedi Starfighter, I like that one too because you can actually use force powers while you were flying around in your ship, so it was kind of neat. Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords, and then Star Wars Republic Commando, awesome, that is a great game to come over. So clearly they were not kidding about the original Xbox announcements. That was a lot, and it was awesome to see. I'm so happy to see something like a Republic Commando come over, Panzer Dragoon Orta, Morrowind, Breakdown. There are some awesome games there, maybe like Conquer Live and Reloaded, Jade Empire. It's going to be a really cool April for original Xbox fans. Now, they also added an update that's going to give 4K assets, textures, the full 4K update to some 360 games, as we've seen before with something like Forza Horizon, for example. Now, these games include Red Dead Redemption. That's right, Red Dead Redemption is getting this update, and it's going to look phenomenal. There have been some screenshots I'll show you here that have already been posted on forums like Reset Era, and it looks insane. Gears of War 2, Star Wars, Force Unleashed, Darksiders, Sonic Generations, and Portal 2 are all getting the same 4K treatment. This is great for anyone who really likes backwards compatibility or wants to revisit some of these games with much better looking assets. Overall, man, I'm just still excited about the original Xbox backwards compatibility here that they have announced. That is a massive flood of titles that are coming to the Xbox One and the Xbox One X here in April. That is super pro-consumer. I'm really excited about it, and I'm going to be checking some of these out. I'll probably go back and do some Republic Commando. I just want to see if it looks any better or runs better on something like the Xbox One X. And then, of course, Jade Empire, which did kind of chug at times on the original Xbox. That's another one to revisit. Morrowind even, same deal. So, very exciting. I'm going to be checking these out. And in our last bit of news, let's talk a bit about the Switch homebrew, Switch hacking scene that's been going on. I don't really talk as much about it now because it has pretty much moved ahead full steam ahead. They have like a full homebrew channel and everything, and it's gotten pretty much status quo with what's happening right now. But there is one thing that they seem to have enabled. It seems to be a bit of a breakthrough that's taken place over the past couple days, and that is backing up their saves. Yes, that's right. It looks like the hacking scene is going to be able to do that while people who are on official firmware are unable to do that. This was on Twitter saying, seems that we successfully performed save backup and restore operations directly on Nintendo Switch through Checkpoint. Source code will be available sometime this year with some goodies coming for the Nintendo 3DS version on GitHub. Good to hear, good to hear. So if you've hacked your Switch, apparently you can back your stuff up, but official firmware consumers cannot still. Nintendo needs to get this worked out, right? We're to the point where the hacking community is being able to back up their stuff, something that Nintendo doesn't want us to do, but they're getting the features like this. And you know what? It's because it was a focal point and they wanted it done, so they did it. I do think Nintendo is bringing some kind of cloud save to the Switch in September, but offline backup should be something that we don't need that online service for. And consider this, cloud saves will then be behind a paywall. So the only way to really back up your saves would be to pay Nintendo yearly for the service. While I don't think $20 a year is insane or anything like that, all the other systems could back up their saves. So let's get these saves backed up. I don't know what else to say. Let's get these offline backups going here, Nintendo. I hope that is in the cards at least. Again, I'll be paying $20 a year for the online service, so if cloud saves are there, great, I can back up my stuff finally. But I also don't think it should be behind a paywall. It's a pretty basic feature, and sure, they might be worried about system-level hacking through save files, but again, everyone else has it, so like, I don't know. I assume it's coming in September, but it's crazy to me to see the hacking community get backups while everyone basically essentially following the rules do not have backups for their saves. It's pretty crazy. And that's going to do it for Newswave today, guys. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave a bunch of comments down below about everything we talked about today, whether it is the awesome list of original Xbox games that are going to be going to the Xbox One and the Xbox One X this April. It's amazing. This month is going to be full of original Xbox games. Maybe you're not a big backwards compatibility person, so maybe you're not that interested in it, but I am really excited to see these kind of pop up on the Xbox One and the Xbox One X store, or if you have the disc, you can pop it in. Very, very cool to see. We'll have to see if there's any performance gains or anything. Let me know what you think about the hacking community for the Switch getting backup saves. Does that annoy you? Does that concern you that they're getting these where the official firmware does not have that option? What do you think about the Mega Man X Legacy Collection? Are you annoyed that Capcom once again puts it on a voucher for anyone who buys it physically? It's kind of frustrating because why would I buy it physically? Why would I just buy it digitally at this point? And then what about Yokai Watch? Are you excited, or are you not really into the series, but now you're thinking about it because it could be coming to the Switch? The Switch is also region free, so hey, if there's an English option, you can technically import it. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.